Okay. Now,
Finally.
I'm sorry, Snyder Bros. This may upset you. Okay. What? Now, all things are possible. Yes, it's possible, and the infinite possibilities that the Snyderverse is restored. Okay. I just think it's so unlikely that it's not going to happen. Okay. But because of the reception of Rebel Moon and Army of the Dead and his original IP, which I have said I love Zack Snyder. I will always love Zack Snyder. I think his strength, just like I could criticize, I'm not completely objective about Zack because I have the whole arc of what happened to him leaving DC, family tragedy,
No,
and then all that, it really touches me. So I can't. It's hard for me to be completely objective.
Well,
but
no, that biases a lot of opinions, and I understand.
But I will say this: I think his strength is not in his original IP. It's when he works on someone else's IP. I think he does a better job. I really do. So I will say to this: I'm not going to tell people not to hope for him getting the DC at Netflix, but I will say this: what I want to ask all of you watching this clip out and on the panel, what is the most likely way for Zack to make another DC project? And I will tell you this right now: I don't think it's Netflix. I think it's James Gunn succeeding.
Yes.
And then him doing something for James Gunn, and it's probably not going to be a continuation of the Snyderverse arc. Maybe he'll do some project like The Authority or some really out there DC project. I think that is it. First off, I think 300 series that he is making would have to be really good. And I do think that's even unlikely because James Gunn, even though he likes Zack, he wants it to be his. As a creatives are selfish. He wants it to be his thing, But if you're going to weigh the options of how Zack Snyder could work on another DC project, Netflix or Apple or anything else buying the rights to DC or to Zack or to the Snyderverse DC, which is an IP now, I think it's a possibility. I think it's more likely that James Gunn's universe would have to succeed first.
Yep.
And then he could work on something for James Gunn eventually.
That would be.
And I think it would have to be that his version of DC would have to succeed first.
Yes.
And I would love to hear what the panel has to say on my speculation there. And I am being objective about this. And I honestly, after seeing his work on Netflix, I like it too. But you're in a bubble. The general masses are not going crazy about Rebel Moon. I said before it happened, I said for Netflix to want to buy it, Rebel Moon has to be like a phenomenon. Like it has to compete with Star Wars. It doesn't hold a candle to Andor. Sorry, at least reception wise, I'm sorry. I enjoyed it and I want to go back and watch the director's cut. I actually researched buying a bootleg 4K extended cut the other day because I want to own it, even though it's not legit.
You should get it on VHS.
I want to make my VHS, but who wants to go first? Brian, you had some thoughts. Is that a crazy?
No, I agree with you, and I think a lot of people need to kind of get on board with it. It's like at this point, if you're dogging on DC for some reason because you think that's going to bring back the older regime and stuff, no, it's going to have the opposite effect of what you think it's going to do. It's just going to make Warner Brothers finally stop dumping money into these movies, at least for a very long time. So, you're rooting for your own destruction at that point. Okay. And then after that, then where does it leave you? So the best thing you could do, honestly, is kind of cheer on these next movies. Are you a DC fan or do you only like Zack Snyder?
And there is a portion of gun nuts that are very anti-Snyder, but as much as people think RJ, would you be upset if Zack Snyder came back if he worked for James Gunn in the future?
No, I'd be ecstatic by that. I'd be very happy.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, okay, like, and I said this the other last time I was on, both groups created each other. It's like that scene you know, in the 89 Batman, where Joker's sitting there with some, you know, a pair of glasses, and he's like, "I made you. Who made me?" You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like you literally made each other. Like it was all a reaction. So like the gun nuts was a reaction to people, you know, going off about.
Well, I would so this caveat 300 has to be an extreme success, that series that he's working on.
Yeah, no.
And the UFC movie too, but more so 300.
He has to show some success, but the fact of the matter is that I don't know
we'll be right back.
if people are going to get behind it, and that's a shame. You know, it's the same thing that killed Star Trek Enterprise all those years ago.
Honestly, James Gunn may have a thing where if he gets a 10-year plan, if he actually gets to the end of it, he might do a crisis type thing and bring back.
That's what I'm saying. You'll get them all back.
He might. It might not be what you wanted, but you know,
hey, it'll be something.
Yeah.
You know, something for you to stand up and cheer for.
But I honestly think right now, listen, I'm not going to tell people to stop doing the restores or sell movement, whatever. I think it's more likely for Zack to get work at DC again through James Gunn than Netflix right now.
Yeah.
Or any other Apple or anything.
Oh no, you know? Anything else. I mean,
right. Because I think outside the Zack Snyder bubble, these things haven't hit with the general audiences since Zack Snyder's Justice League. Now that did hit with the general audience. People were like, wow, this is actually good. There was people that couldn't stand his previous films that loved that, you know?
No, there were normal people, normal DC fans that aren't swayed either way by it that actually enjoyed it. All right. You know, I was a part of the movement, man. I remember. I mean, I came in at the ass end, but I remember I wasted so much time in my life on that crap.
And Brian, would you be happy if Zack worked for James?
I mean, I don't know. At this point, I don't care. You know me, how I feel about these kind of movies.
Well, RJ, can you give any more thoughts on this? This is going to be a clip out for the channel. What's your thoughts on the more likely scenario, and not to trigger people? I know you're.
I've said repeatedly that the best chance that Zack Snyder fans have
just working on DC,
with Zack, you need to work on DC, or even just finishing his Justice League story, is if James Gunn succeeds. That opens more doors than it does close doors.
And you're not to trigger people. You're not saying it's like a 0% to restore. We're not getting into that argument. We're just saying the more likely.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, again, James Gunn succeeding and the DCU being successful opens more doors for stuff like Zack Snyder to come back and work on DC again. James Gunn failing would be the worst thing that could happen because it closes the door.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It'll
on
ruin
DC projects.
It'll ruin DC projects for a while.
You probably won't get anything. Like Brian's already convinced that Cape shit is dying. Like if DC fails again,
it's
dead. That's what I'm saying. That's what I keep saying. It's like, dude, if this is it, like if they fuck up,
I mean, this is the Hail Mary.
There's no rebooting for them. They will quit making.
Brian, just Batman movies from now on.
They'll make Batman movies till the
dawn of the time,
the end of days, man. But you'll never see another Superman movie again.
At least not for a couple decades.
At least for another decade, at least. Yeah.
Anthony, what do you think of this topic? What do you think is more likely?
I do agree. I mean,
without getting people upset, like that's never going to happen, you know, because that triggers people.
Yes,
what's more likely?
Nobody said it's never going to happen. We
never say that. I'll say, I would love to see Zack continue. Yeah, if James Gunn universe succeed, yes, 100%, I agree. Like if it happens, that would be great for everybody. And yeah, I would take.
And you know what?
To do a DC project.
If we are going to get back to the facts, Zack Snyder, when fans asked him, yes, he said he would continue if he could, but he also said what he would love to do is Batman.
Yeah,
right? Did he say that, RJ? Did he say that one of these
he wants to do his Dark Knight Return movie.
Yeah, he said I would love to just do Batman. You know.
Yep.
All right, now I do.
Whole different topic, yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't want to get Matt Reeves. I want Matt Reeves to be able to finish it. I am the most consistent mother effer here. I want everyone to be able. If James Gunn got cut short and they were unrealistic about the expectations, I would say restore the Gunn verse, restore the Reeves verse. I'm consistent. I want creatives to be able to tell the stories they want to tell, but just it's not a reality, unfortunately. But there has been movement on the Reeves stuff, you know.
Let's go kick in the doors over there at freaking Canon Films and be like, Superman Quest for Peace was a masterpiece.